driving business partnering and sort of gathering and getting the right experience, it's sort of not easy. And in some respects, it's about utilising your leadership and making sure that as a sort of a finance leader, you're driving your team into areas which get them the experience and give them some of that experience. Because to be honest, putting the wrong people in business partnering without the right experience is not going to be successful. So you've got to understand the characteristics, the capabilities which you want out of people to drive the right sort of collaboration within the different areas. I think one of the ways you do that is, first of all, you sort of have to let go a little bit. So, having everything in the office doesn't always work. You've got to get your finance team out there into the business. And as a finance manager, as a finance team, we've got to accept that we're going to be managing people in sales. They might be in different buildings. They might actually be in different countries. So having your people out there and gathering the sort of knowledge and understanding which is really needed to be able to drive forward these things is absolutely critical. I do think leadership's a key role here, so it's about you as well and your persona as a finance director and how you work with the broader team, with your directors. And as an individual, I see myself as having a responsibility to create a level of collaboration within my directors, which allows things like finance partnering in sales or in marketing to work well. So, there's got to be constructive here, and you've got to have a feedback loop. And it sort of starts at the top with a lot of these things. Doesn't always work, by the way, because, in some areas it becomes quite difficult to manage that. So you've got to be conscious of, where to do this and where you're going to get best value as well. And it's not, one fits all. You've got to be really clear about where you see value within your business and from a finance perspective, how you can create more value by moving down a business partnering route.
Again, in my line of work, the sales team come up with new ideas. I think they're the ones at the forefront. They know what the customer wants, and the finance is there then as a steady hand. And yes, that is a support role, but at the same time, they can quickly dismiss any wrong decisions and steer it in the right path. When you get an expanding company, what you'll find is as it enters new markets or it gets new products, there has to be people who are able to compile the internal controls that are needed to follow that. As a company expands, volume of transactions expands, and internal controls become absolutely key to making that business successful. So when we're talking about a particular person, you can follow a good transition from a finance to a sales team. Someone with a good, broad understanding of business is essential.
I think that worked in three ways, actually, in the past. Firstly, it's really very much about finance sitting on some of those cross-functional teams. So again, as I was saying, it could be about product development, it could be other aspects of the business where we need various inputs, and finance actually play a part-time role in that team. Taking that to its next level, I've actually had finance partners actually seconded into other parts of the business to work on a major project full-time. And then ultimately, going to the furthest extreme, I physically placed finance business partners with other functions where they work permanently supporting those functions. Challenge there is always to use matrix management to try and ensure they keep a linkage back into finance, as well as obviously working very closely with that local function. But I've seen some real value from actually having them positioned with their internal customers. In terms of the pull for that, well, one is the FD, to be sponsoring how finance can add value at a board level. But I do think the other thing is to actually bring through and nurture commercial finance people with the right skills that actually they can be seen by non-finance people as adding value. And actually the door is then slightly ajar to welcome them in to actually work with those local teams.